While Patrick should have been making headlines for his campaign earlier this year, he was making headlines after claims were laid against him accusing him of sexual misconduct. But the real issue to me is that these women's stories should not have even been put in the media as sexual misconduct or assault, because they weren't, by definition. Both women were able to leave willingly and were not forced to participate in any sexual acts. Patrick even drove one of the girls home when they told him they felt uncomfortable. Unfortunately for other women of sexual assault, they don't get so lucky. But yet, people are still choosing not to see the bigger picture of this story. It seems that women have been taking advantage of the #MeToo movement and using it as a weapon rather than a place for real survivors. These two women are prime examples. Sexual assault is no joke and should be taken seriously, and survivors are feeling betrayed by other women. So here's the story of Devon Small, who was recently sexually assaulted, but she's only coming out to show you what it's like to be on the real side of the #MeToo movement. Did you ever think you'd be put in a situation that you were put in?
I mean, there's always like possibility being a younger girl going out socializing. There's always that what if, but never did I think it would actually happen.
When you're ready, just take us through the night of when it happened and how it happened.
Okay. One night, Kendall and I and another one of our friends went downtown Barrie, and I was sober when I got there. Kendall was a little tipsy and our other friend was a little bit in between, and we ended up at one place and didn't have very much fun, so we went to the Queens, and that's where I was approached by two older, attractive, fairly bigger guys. And they asked if they could buy me drinks, and I kind of wanted to turn the night around, so I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And I was getting a lot of attention by them. I was socializing with them, just the three of us. I ran into a few people I knew, and they were buying me drinks. Like, I never once had an empty drink. It was like, I almost finished this. Okay, they would take turns buying drinks for me. And then Kendall and Sarah wanted to go home. Of course, I was drunk, and I'm like, no, I want to continue the night. They said that they would like pay for my Uber to go back to Kendall's that night. I was really not paying attention to how intoxicated I was until I went upstairs to go to the bathroom, came back downstairs, and they had drinks ready for me, and finished those drinks, and next thing I knew I was getting put into a cab. So I'm like, okay, perfect, they're like taking me home, whatever. But as I was like thinking, I was like trying to process the situation. I was like, I didn't give them an address, like they don't have my number, they don't have Kendall's number, like how do they know where we're going? We got back to, I guess, one of their houses, and got inside, and there was another man there, and I remember sitting on the couch and not really knowing what I should do. And when I was looking for my phone, I couldn't find it. I was just like, oh crap, like maybe I am in trouble. So I asked for water, and they started giving me a beer. They wouldn't give me water. So then I was like, okay, well maybe if I just try and go to bed, like wake up in the morning, get myself like all my thoughts together, and it will be fine. One of the guys picked me up and put me on the couch. I'm like, hey, he's just putting me to sleep, whatever. Then he gets on top of me and starts having sex with me. And at this point I'm like, holy shit, like what do I do? Do I just go with it? Do I try and fight him off? Like, what really are my options? He started putting his hands around my neck, and I'm like, okay, if I try and fight him off, like, what if he hits me, or what if he full-on starts choking me? I remember looking up and seeing the other guy that we were at the bar with walk out of his room naked, and I was like, great, now I'm really in trouble. He gets on top of me, and the other guy gets off, and he's saying all this stuff like fuck her and talking about my vagina and all that stuff, and they just took turns, and then I passed out, and I woke up next to one of the guys in their bed, and I was like, holy shit. So they were both asleep, and I got up and I saw that there were condoms all over the floor, and finally I found the outfit that I was wearing that night and my phone, so I texted my sister right away. I'm like, please come here, like, I don't know what I'm doing. But while I was waiting, one of the guys, the second guy that had sex with me, he came out and he started showing off his penis and talking about how great it was, and then telling me how much I must have loved all the attention, and in an outfit like the outfit I was wearing, like, I deserved all the attention I got. And then he was trying to make out with me, but I told him that my sister would be here any minute, and then I just ran out of the house, and my sister picked me up. Then it wasn't until a couple of days later when I decided to tell my mom that she was like, this is really serious. She called up her friends on the OPP that deal with sexual assault, and they said, you know what, like, having two guys that are around their 30s and their word against your daughter's who was drunk and intoxicated, the odds of her actually getting somewhere with this case are slim to none. I never got asked permission. It was forced upon me. I mean, I had these two big guys like on top of me. It wasn't just a, hey, can you do whatever sexual act he asked them to do. Simply asking someone for a sexual favor and then them saying no and him backing off, to me, that's pretty not really something that should be reported or publicized as sexual assault or sexual harassment. When you call it as it's not, then it definitely, takes away focus from the situations that truly should be reported and truly should be publicized and heard by the public. It takes away from, the girls that are going through a lot more than have just been asked for a sexual favor.
Where you made a comment about certain things being publicized or not, so would you compare your story to theirs, saying one should have been made public compared to the other?
I mean, I think that more severe cases such as mine, and mine isn't even remotely close to what most girls go through. I mean, I consider myself fairly lucky to have had this minimal sexual assault, which is really sad to say, but compared to women that get completely abused and things could have gone a lot worse than in my case, and stories like those deserve to be heard and not stories like this.